This video is on angle relationships when parallel lines are cut by a transversal. As you saw in the Unit 2 investigation, there are special angle relationships when parallel lines are cut by a transversal. So let's take a minute and go over those. So here we have parallel lines A and B that are cut by transversal T and 8 angles that are numbered. So alternate interior angles, so that would be angles 4 and 5, and angles 3 and 6, are going to be congruent to each other. Remember that they're called alternate interior because they are on alternate sides of the transversal and they are on the interior between the two parallel lines. Alternate exterior angles are also congruent. So a couple pairs of those would be 1 and 8, those are going to be congruent, and 2 and 7 are congruent. Those are called alternate exterior because like 1 and 8 are on alternate sides of the transversal, and they're both on the exterior of the two parallel lines. Same side interior angles are supplementary. So that would be angles 3 and 5. So they're on the same side of the transversal and they're on the interior, and those are going to be add up to 180, as are angles 4 and 6. Same side exterior angles are also supplementary, so that would be like angles 1 and 7 and 2 and 8. They're 1 and 7 are on the same side of the transversal and they're on the exterior of the parallel lines, as are 2 and 8, and those pairs of angles will add up to 180. And then corresponding angles are congruent. So for example, 1 and 3 are a pair of corresponding angles, called corresponding because they're on the same side of the transversal T and they're both on the same side of the parallel line. They're both kind of to the up and right of each line that is parallel. So 1 and 3 are corresponding, 2 and 4 are corresponding, 5 and 7, 6 and 8. They're kind of in the same orientation with respect to the lines, and corresponding angles are going to be congruent to each other. So let's take a look at one example here. Here we have line Q, which is a transversal to parallel lines R and S. And recall that we know that R and S are parallel because of these little arrows that are on there. And it's given that the measure of angle 4 is 2x minus 17, and the measure of angle 1 is 85, and I need to find x. So looking at this diagram, there is no special name for that angle relationship between 1 and 4. 1 is on the exterior on one side of the transversal, 4 is on the interior on the other side of the transversal, but I can actually use a couple other things that I know. One thing I'm noticing is that angles 1 and 3 are vertical angles, so I know that angle 3 is also 85 because vertical angles are congruent to each other. And now I see that 3 and 4 are same side interior angles, and those are going to be supplementary to each other. So I know that the measure of angle 3, which is 85, plus the measure of angle 4, which is 2x minus 17, is going to equal 180. So combining like terms and subtracting from both sides, I have that 2x equals 112, and then dividing by 2, x is equal to 56. And I can stop there because that's what the problem asked me to do. So in this video, we took a look at the special angle relationships when parallel lines are cut by a transversal. We have alternate interiors, which are congruent, alternate exteriors, which are congruent, corresponding angles are congruent, same side interior are supplementary, and same side exterior are also supplementary.